Hello, my name is Yorsh and welcome to my 3D course on Colosso. This is the first chapter, so we'll be seeing in general all the key topics and details that we'll go through during the course. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Yorsh and I'm an artist. I've been working as an illustrator for many years, and recently I discovered the wonderful world of 3D and the possibilities of combining both worlds, 2D and 3D together. Let's go over my background a little. Everything started around 2016 when I saw a Stickman animation. At that moment, I wanted to be an animator, and I instantly decided to start animating. I downloaded Adobe Flash and made my very first drawing. That's how it all began. Time went by, and along the way I discovered Wlop, WLOP, who was a huge inspiration for me in the beginning. I drew so much that I forgot I wanted to animate, and that's how my adventure as an illustrator began for many years. Like many people, I had to make the classic choice: study architecture or dedicate my life to art. There are usually a lot of prejudices about art, so it's normal to hear comments like, "No, you won't make money," or "you will starve." This kind of mindset pushes us to go for what seems safer. I went through the same thing. I quit art completely and replaced it with numbers and science. For a year, I gave my best to get into a good university, but I didn't make it. It was a frustrating time. But along the way, I found my second big inspiration, Ross Strauss. His videos and personality encouraged me to make a decision. And honestly, I didn't care anymore if things went wrong or if I didn't make money. I just wanted to do what I love. I tried to get into National School of Art, but failed exam. Instead of clicking next question, I clicked finish exam. It was really dumb. But I kept going as a freelancer, kept trying my luck, and with time, I got my first formal job as a concept artist at Bantam Games. I was there for almost 3 years. After that stage, I started diving deeper into 3D until this day, working with more studios like Koei Animation, Ninakami Studios, and Dylan Gu Studios, which are the studios I currently work with. A special mention to Andy Studios too, which is a group I also collaborate with. As for 3D, in the beginning, like everyone, I started watching the classic tutorials like how to make anime in Blender. This was my first animation attempt. In that moment, I used to stream a lot on Twitch and wanted to make something special for my intros and backgrounds. I didn't know much at that time, but I really liked the idea of setting a big goal and learning in the process while creating my own path. At that time, it was just a hobby that I didn't practice often, but I remember feeling excited seeing how my idea was slowly becoming more and more real. This was around 2020, and it wasn't until 2024 that I've tried again. It became a much more active hobby, and then I ended up making this. I present you the piece that changed my life. After I posted on Twitter, it went viral. And then clients started to comment different ideas requiring different materials, shaders, and animations. And little by little, I kept discovering more and more. Well, as you can see, we all have a story. We all start from different points, and it doesn't matter where you are right now. You would be surprised by what you can do if you just dedicate 20 minutes a day to learning something new. You don't need to be an expert in a software to connect with people. Sometimes you just need to tell a story well, and there will always be someone out there who connects with you. All these experiences have contributed to everything I know, and I would love to share that with you too. So let's see what we'll learn together. Why is 3D important? It's becoming more and more common to see people trying to push the possibility, of 3D closer to the 2D world. That trend had a big impact on me, and I would like you to discover this world too. The trend of stylization is everywhere. Movies like Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots, Paperman, which is a short film that I really love, and more are proof of that. As an illustrator, 3D also has opened many doors for me in the industry, not only with VTubers, but also with different animation studios that are drawn not only to your 3D knowledge, but also to your artistic vision as an illustrator. That's part of the magic of combining both worlds. You become a versatile artist who can offer something beyond your skills as an illustrator or your skills as a 3D artist. 3D today is useful for everything, especially if you're an illustrator, even if you only want to make concept art or a simple guide for a drawing. What Blender offers is amazing. It allows you to be more efficient while giving you the freedom to experiment much more, even if you just know the basics. If you are an illustrator with no experience in Blender, don't worry. This is not a full tutorial covering all the complex aspects of Blender. Even I, after all this time, don't know 100% of what Blender can do, but I know enough to achieve my goals and create what I love. You will probably also feel familiar with some concepts when building or scene, because the fundamentals of art are everywhere when it comes to storytelling. In this class, we'll learn how to make animated scenes, full of atmosphere, fantasy, and color. We'll dive into the world of geometry nodes, review art fundamentals, and then go deeper and deeper into 3D, from the basics to more complex things. I will teach you everything I know so you can make your own animated scenes. And, above all, start your own path as a 3D artist. And if you already are one, maybe you will discover new techniques or workflows that inspire you. We won't only learn nature. What you will really learn are skills that will help you to develop your own projects. And, most importantly, find creative solutions to any problem. So, it doesn't matter if it's nature, an ocean, or a cyberpunk city. Once you have the foundations right, you will always find a creative way to solve it. That's also part of being creative. And what about the mindset for the course? Well, many people think Blender is something very complex and technical and strict, that it follows an exact process. But that's not true. Blender is just another tool that you can use however you like. That's why I love the NPR style. NPR means non-photorealistic rendering, a world full of possibilities to dream, use vivid colors, and go beyond reality. So we won't be looking for realism. We'll even cheat reality to achieve what we want. We won't aim for perfect topology or flawless UVs. All our focus will be on making something that works visually for the camera. Throughout the course, don't feel bad if you don't understand something right away. We have all been there, even the artists you admire the most. It's important to stay consistent and, above all, get used to your new tools. Try to find the fun behind all this. Making the process enjoyable is vital to awaken your creativity in every sense. Learning something new is exciting. We all have our limits and we have all gone through that, like, oh no, I don't know how to do this. So, in that case, when you feel stuck, just learn something new. Learning breaks your limits, and that's how you can keep creating while overcoming frustration. Personally, I like to think of Blender as a laboratory where I sit from time to time to try new things with everything I know. Of course, like any craftsman, you need tools. I will give you mine, and with enough of them, you can start developing your own solutions. That's also part of being creative. So, when you finish this course, keep challenging yourself. Discover new materials, new ways to manipulate normals, new methods to automate things, and so on. Personally, I find that really fun. Alright, let's go over the curriculum in detail. We'll start with a theoretical introduction to gradually build the idea we want to create. We'll begin with a brief introduction to Blender. I know you're already eager to start with 3D, so I will give you a short overview. Since the most complex parts are usually the geometry nodes, we'll focus a bit more on that. We won't go too deep into things like explaining the interface or how to navigate through the software, so I recommend getting a little familiar with Blender before starting. The world of geometry nodes is very broad and complex. Even I haven't completely understood it yet, but I know enough to achieve what I need, and I will do my best to make it easy for you to understand. Then we'll review the fundamentals: value, color, and composition, which are very important because we are not just learning how to make 3D stuff. We are creating a piece that works visually and conveys emotions. It doesn't matter how technically complex your scene is. If it doesn't look good, it won't work. It's like building the base or the skeleton of your piece. Actually, I often see 3D artists making this mistake. They focus too much on doing technically complex things, but don't take time to practice their fundamentals. Our mission as artists is to create visual adventures and tell a story through our work. So, I wanted to make a small section about this before jumping into all the practical parts. After all the theory, we'll have our idea ready and we'll start with the sketch. We'll make a sketch of what we want and explore the potential of our idea by bringing it to 3D. Many times, having a basic version of your scene in Blender is very helpful because with the camera and different angles, you can discover new possibilities for your piece. My process usually goes like a sketch first, then little 3D base, and finally, sometimes a sketch again. Once we have the sketch, we'll start building our scene in Blender. We'll identify the materials we need and learn each one step by step. We'll learn how to modify normals procedurally, use tools and geometry nodes that will help us create natural elements, and even paint our own assets to give a personal touch to our textures. Once our materials are ready, we'll start using them to build our scene in Blender, and we'll keep learning new things along the way. We will also animate our characters in Blender and then include them into the scene. For this occasion, actually I won't draw the character on video, I will draw it beforehand and bringing it ready for you because I think what's really interesting here is the workflow for animating it. So we'll separate the pieces and export everything in an organized way, from Photoshop to Blender. Of course, you can animate your characters in any program you like, but lately I found a special comfort in Blender that I would love to share with you. We'll make the night version, which is very popular. Clients often ask for these kind of variations, and it's actually quite simple and convenient because I've developed a workflow where you only need a couple of clicks to switch between day and night. It's gonna be really interesting to see. Then we'll add the final details, and that's it. We'll continue with post-production. You have probably seen scenes composed in post-production, like different layers of the same scene combined together for compositing. In our case, it won't be necessary, unless you're looking for something specific, because normally we'll have already worked our 3D scene quite well. So this part will only focus on color corrections and experimentation. I will show you how to use DaVinci Resolve for this. It won't be a super complete and professional DaVinci course, but you'll have everything you need to experiment and give your piece those final touches. Many times we finish our piece and think, wow, I wish it looked warmer or cooler. So instead of going back and changing all the parameters again in Blender, it's better to do it in post-production. I remember that in my early projects, I used Blender for post-production, but having a dedicated program is a completely different and richer experience. I really like this stage because it's often where I discover the hidden potential of my piece. In the end, every decision you make, whether it's warmer, cooler, like more contrast, more, should have an intention behind it. Ask yourself, what do you want to communicate? Always remember the intention behind your piece. And after that, congratulations! You'll have learned everything you need to create your own nature scenes. But we won't stop there. We'll be doing the classroom scene. I decided to do this extra scene because over time I received many kind of commissions, not just nature. So I made an extra scene where I will show you my latest tricks and tools. We'll make more use of gradients, learn how to animate cartoons in a loopable and procedural way, metallic materials, and more. And with that, we'll finish the course with some final words where I will share a few personal experiences and we'll say goodbye. Well, I think that would be all for now. Thank you so much for trusting me with your learning. I truly appreciate it. I hope this helped you prepare and start feeling comfortable because we have a lot of things ahead of us. In the next chapter, we'll start with some basic concepts of geometry nodes. It's gonna be very interesting. And remember, focus on collecting new tools for your own laboratory. Every course or tutorial is an invitation to do that. So, see you in the next chapter. Bye bye.